Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. Project for today is, well, head gaskets for a 185, which is the hair of the engines from the Laser. Can't get these head gaskets anymore, so I'm going to actually make them from pure copper. So I have two pieces screwed together here. I'm going to go over to the rotary table on the milling machine, and I'm going to turn these into two head gaskets. I'll have to anneal them, but anyway, we'll go through the whole process. I haven't actually made my own before. We used to buy them for the racing cars. So this is going to be kind of a fun project for me too. So follow along and we'll see how we make out if we can turn this into that. I've already set the rotary table here, which of course rotates. It is perfectly aligned with the center of the tool, where the spindle where the tool goes into. And I made this other one here with a nice point on it, and it lines up absolutely now. I've slid the material around because I don't want to move this in or out or back. It has to stay centered for my offset calculation. So I found the middle of the material and I marked it, and I've slid the material around and initially clamped it down so that if I bring this point down here, it touches. So now everything is lined up. So we have the center of the rotary table, the center of my material, and the center of the tool cutter is all in a perfectly straight line. That's where we want to start from. So now we'll do the calculations and find out what the offset is to put the tool down into the material and cut around in a circle and have the hole the right size. So the way that I'm going to determine the offset for my cutter is, let's have this is our proposed hole and this is our square piece of material. The center is all lined up all the way down through with the rotary table, and the diameter here is 2/500, so that's across. So it's a 2.5-inch hole that I want to make in there. Now I'm going to use a 1/4-inch cutter, so a 1/4 inch is going to be my tool for it. So that's 250 thou for the tool, but I want to only use half because I'm going to be using the edge of the tool. So the tool is going to be like that. There's the center of the tool. So I need to take my 250 thou and I need the radius, which is half of that, so it's 1.250, so 1.25 inches. So that's that. And then half of my tool cutter, which is 125 inches, so minus 125. Then we get okay, so we got, so 4, that's 10, so 5, that's 2, and that's 1, and 1. So that's our offset then. So I'm going to move the whole piece over 1 inch, 125 thou. So in other words, my tool cutter will be where the marker is, and I'm going to move the table across and bring the tool cutter over here. Then when I rotate the table and it all turns underneath the tool cutter, it should give us a nice 2-inch 500 thou hole. We'll find out. So my digital readout is zeroed, and so I want to, I'm going to move the table, go in the minus direction, and I'm going to go over to 1 inch and 125 thou. So we're getting close. 80, 100. Time to slow down. Okay, and then lock the table, and hopefully it doesn't move, because sometimes it moves when you lock the table. Nope. Well, there you go. I just locked the table. It moved 2/10, but for 2/10 of a thou, not worried about it at all. I still have my pointer in here, tool in here, but here's the center right there where I just was, and of course here we've moved over 1 inch, 125 and 2/10 thou. So now I'm going to put the cutter in, and away we go. So I swapped out the collet in there, and getting ready for, yes, double check and make sure that it is correct. It's 1/4 inch. Okay. There. Okay. So let's tighten this up. Put that on the right direction. It'll work better. There's a big nut on the top, or a bolt on the top, actually I have to tighten up. All right. Okay, so now we'll find out if I have to move the table, which is right there, and I have enough space. We've got to make sure ahead of time that I'm not going to hit anything, and that looks fine. We'll wind that up for right now and do the final checks now. The tool cutter is tight, and all the clamps are tight, except this one, it needs a little spacer underneath it, so I'll have to reset this one. It's not on the right angle. So we'll take this one apart and up quite a bit. I'm just going to put a little spacer underneath here and see how we make out there. Yes, that's on a much better angle now. Okay. Dangerous machine if something comes flying out of it. So, okay, so I'm all set. So next order of business is, let's make a hole. So let me get my vernier here. Across, what do we have? Look at that. 2 inches and almost 500. Just a couple shy, but of course, can't really get on the good edge there. there we go. Oh, held on by the tape. There we go. So there is the middle of it. I'll have to save that. Kind of cool. Use that for something one day. And go through the second piece. And let's find out how did we do in the end. Again, not the most perfect tool for doing this, but for head gasket, I think we're doing pretty good. 2 inches, 498, so 2 thou under, which is fine. I'm happy with that. And this is not some precision tooling, it's a head gasket, so I'll take it. Better than being way over. All right, so let's finish freeing this from the machine. And there, look at that. And there's the two of them right there. So the next challenge on this project is I need to get 4 properly spaced holes, just like in the original head gasket. How am I going to do that? Well, I've centered it, as you can see, and clamped it. So now what I'm going to do is I have a drill that just fits through the cavity in the cylinder head, and I'm just going to mark it with the point. So and if this didn't move while I was doing it, I'll take it back over to the mill and make the holes in it, and it'll be all set. Well, I can't see down there enough to find out, so let's see what we got here. I hope there's 4 nice little spots on the bottom that I can use. And there is. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, there's their nice centers on there. So I'll go and now I'll measure the studs and I'll make the holes the appropriate size. So I'm going to do the 4th and last hole. I'm just using a 4-flute end mill to do this. And hopefully this hole turns out good, because it would be a shame to wreck it at this point in time. So moving on now to finish these. So I've outlined it, and I'm just going to use some really good sharp aviation snips, and I'm going to go all the way around, follow my line, and then I'll take it over to the belt sander and finish it all off so it has a nice smooth edge on it. And there we go. We'll continue with that one. This one I've completed already, so it looks the same as the original, same as the original size. So next thing, I'm gonna have to anneal this, because right now it's really, really hard. So it won't seal at all, so we have to soften it up. So that's the next step. So here's the first one of them. It's already changed color. I got most of the lights dimmed down in the shop here because I need to see it when it turns dull red. And right now it's kind of a black color. Let me flip the light on for a sec. Yes. It's getting towards there. So it'll turn black first, and then it'll go dull red. And at that point, I want to get it. Two things I can do. I can just leave it cool off or in the air, or I can drop it into some water. I didn't know if this electric heater would actually be able to do this, and it may eventually, but I don't think just propane torch would heat this up this well. And I'm trying to do it very evenly because I want it to be the same softness all the way around. It's getting nice now. Okay, I'm happy with that. Whoops. Well, I always got to whack the camera at least once. I'm going to get it carefully by the very edge. And this one I'm going to quench. So both head gaskets are annealed. I didn't want to try and bend them because they'll just get hard again. So we all know what this fitting is. This should be 99.9% pure copper, which is what that material was for the head gaskets. And we know how strong these are. I mean, I can't squeeze it at all. So just for fun, we'll put that on the heat there. And use the torch on this one. And we'll make it nice and red. And we'll turn down these shop lights here, but we'll be able to see it turn red. And there we go. It's red. And now let me drop it in the water. Done. So we'll give that a second to cool off. Let's turn this guy off. And then let's see how strong am I today. Look at that. See that? I can squeeze that right down. So it becomes very pliable. Now that I've moved it and bent it, now I can't get it to go the other way again. So the only way to get it to do something again is to heat it up again and soften it. Kind of cool. Characteristic with copper. When you quench steel, it gets harder. When you heat and quench copper, it gets as soft as it's going to be. So I just went to, buff a little bit with some Scotch-Brite, but it still has, and this one has a lot of black on it. I think it's maybe zinc or something. I don't know. That came out of it. At any rate, I can't take the credit for this. I saw this. I have vinegar in here, and apparently if you put salt with it, so we'll give that a little bit of a mix up, get it in solution, and let's see what happens. Well, nothing spectacular at this point. Anyway, I'll let it soak a little bit, and we'll see if it rubs right off. The soaking didn't work very well, but the solution of the vinegar and the salt on the more coarse Scotch-Brite certainly cleans it right off. So I'm very happy with that. When the time comes that you can't get this anymore, you can always make this. So it's a fun project in reality. It's time consuming, yes. Material wise, it's relatively inexpensive. However, these are good for 3-4 uses probably anyway. So once the engine goes together and it's torqued down, this will fit into all the little nooks and crannies that it needs to go into because it's soft. And then as the engine runs and heat cycles a couple of times, this is going to harden up and conform to all of those shapes that it needed to seal the cylinder and the cylinder head together. Do you need to retorque the head gaskets after the head bolts after? Absolutely, because this is definitely going to harden up or work hardened, whatever way you want to put it. So anyway, Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video of how we can't get this, so we make this. Like, share, subscribe, all those other things. Thanks. Bye now.